Good morning. I'm just going to allow a few minutes for everyone to join us. There's a few people coming in now, and then we shall get started. Carolyn and Diana, can you just confirm for me, just in the chat or Q&A, that you can see the slide that says website best practices, what your business website really needs? Just want to make sure everything's working the way it should be. Beautiful. Thanks, Diana. Chat function is disabled. No problem. If you could just use the Q&A box anyway for any questions, that would be amazing. Okay, we might get started. So welcome everyone to today's webinar, which is website best practices. So what we're going to be talking about today is what your business website really needs. So the things that I really want you to focus on when you're setting up the website for your business. Now, I'm not going to cover everything because this could be a 5-hour webinar. Because I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but it's the most important things that we're going to be covering here. So the things that if you can tick these off on your website, then you can feel confident that your website is going to do what it needs to do for your business. Okay, I'll just close that one down. So we'll start with an acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we work, live and meet today. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and we celebrate the stories, culture and traditions of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities who also work and live on this land. Now, this is Sharon and myself, Makala, and we are your small business facilitators, with Business South. So what we do with Business South is we provide assistance with a business idea. We provide networking workshops and community opportunities. So opportunities for small business owners who are in the starting or early stage of their business to come together and meet with others and collaborate with others. And also advice on startups. So what you need to do, what you need to think about, all the things that you need to cover if you are starting a small business. And at the moment, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, all our services are provided free of charge. So we'll just start. I wanted to let you know that I am providing an opportunity in this webinar that if you want to pop your URL into the Q&A box, at the end, I'll have a look at your website, we'll bring it up and I can provide you with some live feedback. So it's only if you want to do it, no one has to do it, and it will also only be time permitting. So provided we've got time at the end and I haven't droned on for too long. And also, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please pop them in the Q&A box, and I will try and keep an eye on it as we go through the webinar. So if I miss any questions during it, I will address them at the end. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the first thing that everyone sees when they land on your website, which is your homepage. So the idea of your homepage, or what your homepage does, is it provides a first impression of your business. You also want it to capture the visitor's interest and compel the visitor to dig deeper into your website. So you want someone to land there, get an idea of who you are, what you do, and also get them curious. So they're at a point where they like what they see and they want to learn a bit more. So they're going to have a bit of a look around on your website. So today, as the main example, I'm going to be using our website, the Business South website. And I'd just like to give a little quick shout out at this point to Nick Sutherland from My WP Mate. So Nick actually developed our website and he did a fabulous job. And he very patiently put up with my nitpicking on knowing all these things. It was like, oh, we need to do this. And can you make sure we do that? And he was absolutely fabulous in helping us set up our website. So this is mainly him with my input that you see in front of you. All right, so let's get started. Now, the first thing that anyone sees when they land on your website is what is called above the fold. So above the fold is the screen that you see when you first land. So whether it's on mobile device or desktop computer, laptop computer, it's the first thing that they see. So it really is your first impression and it's without scrolling. So before they've scrolled, bang, when your website loads, this is what they see. So again, it's their first impression of your business. And it's actually the most important part of your entire website. Okay, so we're going to spend a lot of time here and I'll give you the resources that you need in order to make this do what you need it to do for you. So let's break down what's involved in above the fold. So the first thing that we've got is the announcement bar. Now, not all websites have this, and that's quite okay. Some web design programs don't allow you to have one, some do. It's not the thing that you absolutely have to have. If it is an option, it can be a really good thing to use, however. So as you can see from our website, ours just says Coffee and Connections Newtown. So the idea is people will see that and go, oh, what's that? And click on it. So ours is actually a clickable link. So what you can do with your announcement bar is you can provide information, promote events like we've done here, or you can also use it to advertise like your lead magnet or sign up opportunity. And I'll talk about that a little bit further on in the presentation, but also lead magnet, we're going to be doing an email marketing webinar in a couple of months' time, and I'll be talking all about it then. So you'll understand what that is then. But just briefly, it's something that you give away for free in order to encourage people to sign up to your email list. So that top banner can be the announcement bar can be a really good place to have that. So I'll just show you a couple of examples of other websites, the announcement bars on other websites. So this one's for Maya. So as you can see, they've used it to provide information. So they're using it to let you know that they have free click and collect, that they have free delivery on orders over $99, and that they provide a 30-day returns policy. So if we have a look at another one, so this is the Art of Tea, which is a local Tasmanian brand for us. And what they've done is they've used the lead magnet idea. So Sam from Art of Tea has created a quiz, which is which breakfast tea is for you. So if you click that button there, that will open up the quiz for you and you can go through and answer the quiz. And at the end, it captures your email address. So that's another option. And this last one I wanted to show you, and this is actually the only time I've ever seen this, and I think it's pretty cool for those of us that have a podcast anyway. So this is Amy Porterfield. She's a very well-known American online marketing expert. And what she's done, and I haven't worked out how, is she's actually used her announcement bar to give people access to her latest podcast episode. Because she has a podcast called Online Marketing Made Easy, which is very, very popular and very, very good. And so if you land on her website, you can literally press that play button and it starts playing the podcast episode. So they're all different ways in which you can use the announcement bar option on your website if you do have that as an option. But as I said before, it's not imperative. It's just something that is helpful. And a lot of website builders now, I notice, do have it as an option that you can utilize. Okie dokes. So the next main thing that you need to think about is your header. So the header on our website, at least, is this white space here. And so it's generally broken up into 3 sections. So what you've got is your logo, and that needs to always be there. You always need to have your business logo. If you don't have a logo, just have your business name there. And if you have the ability to hyperlink that, so make it a clickable link, what you want it to be is your homepage. So it doesn't matter where anyone is on your website, they can click on your logo and it will return them to the above the fold on your homepage. So the first bit's your logo, and it generally occurs on the left-hand side. Like if you go to any website, that's where you'll see it. So it's kind of the first thing that you see. Then you've got the menu. So when it comes to menus, what you really want to do is keep it simple. Essentially, you want a home item, a menu item, an about, and a contact. They're the main 3 things that you need. So the main 3 pages or 3 sections of your homepage that you need to have. If you've got other things like, we've got events, we've got resources, we've got a blog, nice to have, useful. You might want to have, if you're a service provider, you might have like a work with me section, and people can click on that to see the services that you provide. Like if you're a celebrant, you could have a work with me section, and it says, births or naming ceremonies, weddings, funerals, whatever on that page. If you're a product-based business, what you would probably have is shop or products or something like that. So that's in the middle. You want to make it nice and clear. And as I say, keep it simple, like make it one word if you can, and just really obvious as to what people are going to find there. Now, if you really need to, you can use submenus. So if you hover over resources, for example, you could then have a submenu that appears that says like videos or downloadables or whatever. You tend to see that more on e-commerce stores, where you might have women might be the menu item, and you hover over that, and then they've got like tops, pants, handbags, whatever. So try to, again, even if you're using submenus, keep it simple. You want to make the website experience as simple and easy as possible for your visitors. And the last section is social icons. And what I hope you immediately noticed is that we don't have any visible. Now, the reason I've added this bit on here is a lot of website templates give you the option of putting your social icons on here. And what I'm saying is I don't want you to do that. And there's a really good reason behind it. This whole above the fold is to encourage people to spend time on your website and learn more about you on your website. If you have your social icons up here, people might instantly go, oh, I'm going to go check out their Instagram page, and you've lost them. First thing they've done is they've seen your social icon and they've disappeared off into the world of Instagram or Facebook scrolling, and you've missed your opportunity to walk them through who you are and what you do. So if you have the option of having social icons in your header menu or your header section, please don't do it. The best place for your social icons is halfway down your page or in the footer. Okay, so that is the header. The next part is this big section here called the hero section. So this is really where the magic happens. And as I said, the above the fold is the most important part of your entire website. So what's included in this part is really super important. So what you want your above the fold to do is to pass the grunt test. And this, I admit that I didn't come up with this. I actually got this from an Amy Porterfield podcast episode. So the grunt test is essentially, could a cave person grunt out what it is you do in a really simple and clear way just by looking at the above the fold on your website? So I want you to think about that when you're looking at your own website, if you've already created it, or when you're planning it to create it. Could a cave person grunt out what it is you do in a really simple and clear way? And to help you determine that, whether you pass that test or to ensure that you do pass that test, I'm going to provide you with these 3 questions that you need to answer. So the first question that you need to answer, that your above the fold needs to have the information on, is, what do you offer? The second one is, how will it make my life better? And we're thinking as if we're a visitor. We're that cave person visitor landing on your website. And the third question is, what do I need to do to get it? So it's, what do you offer? How is what you offer going to make my life better? And how do I get what you offer? Now, there's actually a really simple way that you can translate your answers from those questions onto your website. And it's by using the next 3 sections to answer those questions. So the hero section should contain 3 text sections. And essentially what you've got is your heading. So in our case, it's helping Tasmanians start and grow small businesses. That's our heading. Your description. So that's this bit, advising and encouraging people who are considering planning and starting a business by providing free assistance. And the call to action, which is our 2 buttons that we've got there, the free consult or getting started. So the way it all translates is, the heading is where you want to answer the what do you offer question. So what we do is we help Tasmanians start and grow small businesses. That's our offer. So it's pretty straightforward. The next section, the description, is where you want to answer, how will it make my life better? So advising and encouraging people who are considering planning and starting a business by providing free assistance. That's how we make your life better. That's what we do for you. And then the call to action buttons are the what do I need to do to get it? So in our case, if we've got 2, normally I would actually only have 1, and it would be the free consult, because that's the step that we want people to take in order to engage with us to get the ball rolling so we can deliver on what we've promised here. The get started just moves people down our website. So just to talk a little bit more about the call to action. So a call to action, or CTA, is a word or phrase that prompts action, literally. So we use CTAs to encourage visitors to take a specific action which helps convert them into a paying customer. So in our case, our customers don't pay, but in order to take them from a visitor on our website to someone who's engaged with us that we provide services to, it's the free consult button. That's what gets people in. So here's an example of some call to action buttons on different websites. So here you've got refer a friend, list your property. That was from a real estate website. Learn more is a very common one. You could then, if you were, again, I'm going to pick on the marriage celebrant because I'm pretty sure I've got a marriage celebrant on this call. If you had the information in your hero section and your call to action was learn more, that could then take them to your services page where you then outline what you do. So that's what kind of drives people to take the next step. So, because they need to know a bit more about what you actually do as a celebrant. And then on that page, you could have another call to action under each of the things saying, contact me, or whatever it is, the next step that you want them to take. Just a few others. Find your plan. I think that's on Dropbox. So you land on their website and their call to action is find your plan, essentially, so you can sign up. Shop now, again, very common one on people who sell products on their website, so have an e-commerce site. Get started. I think that I might have taken that from Netflix. So you land on their homepage and they've got to get started. And contact us. That's from our website, further down our website. So when it comes to call to actions, you want them to be buttons. So like what you see in front of you here, and you really want them to stand out on your website. So you want to use bright colors that complement your brand. So, as you can see just from this slide, like these are our brand colors. It's mainly the blues and whites. But our call to action is our dark orange color. So it really stands out. You can't miss our call to action buttons, which is what you want. You want people to really easily see the step that you want them to take. So use bright colors that complement your brand. Use clear, easy to read font. So again, we've got a very basic font and it's all in capitals. And keep the text short and sharp. Don't give them a 5-word long direction. Keep it really short, sharp, and simple. And just before we go any further, so again, you would have noticed in the hero section that we had the website image, and I'll show you that again in a moment. But good website imagery has the ability to grab our attention, to trigger emotion, and compel us to take action. So when you're thinking about the images that you want to put on your website, what you need is something that's high quality, that's relevant to who you are and what you do, and is also meaningful. So it's meaningful to your product or service. And I've got in brackets there, real is best. And what I mean by that is if it's your own image, like we've got on our website, we actually had a mini photo shoot to get some images to use. They're the best. They are absolutely the best over stock images. You can use stock images if that's kind of all that's available to you, but really real life examples of you doing your thing, that's what people are going to connect with most. So as we move on through this webinar, what I want you to do, I'm going to show you a few examples. And in each one, I want you to keep an eye out for both the call to actions that are being used and also the images on the website. So I want you to notice what does and doesn't appeal to you when it comes to the calls to action and the images. So again, knowing what I've just said, we'll have a look at our website again. So firstly, our image. So what we've got here is an aerial drone shot of Tassie's East Coast. So I'll give just a quick shout out here to Stuart Lyle from Southern Edge Media. He provided this shot for us, and also he did the other photos on our website as well. So this image is meaningful because it illustrates that we're all about Tasmania and we care about smaller communities. Like we could have taken a photo of Hobart, but we cover all of southern Tasmania, so from Bicheno across and down. So we really wanted to ensure that people in the smaller communities felt that connection with us. So that's why we chose that particular image. It shows that we're Tasmanian and that we care and we're engaged and we outreach to the smaller communities in our service area. So again, looking at the heading, what do you offer? The description, how will it make my life better? and the call to action. What do I need to do to get it? So here's another above the fold from a website that I came across. So this one is Human Kindness Clothing. So as you can tell from the first glance, they do it really well. The grunt test, what do? Just by looking without reading a thing, you can make an informed guess that they provide T-shirts with positive statements for all ages, because that's what their photo shows. So if we break it down, the image, high quality, it's relevant and it's meaningful. The heading, what do you offer? Let your light shine. Considering the name is Human Kindness Clothing, let your light shine kind of gives you the impression that it's allowing some of who you are to come out in the clothes that you wear. So they cover that. They do that well. How will it make my life better? We'll show your love for humanity in our soft cotton tees, men, women, and youth collections. So you can share, these T-shirts. You can use these T-shirts through your whole family to sort of share your values. And what do I need to do to get it? The call to action, shop now. So they've absolutely nailed that. They've done a really, really good job. So let's have a look at another one. And I chose this one specifically because it's a bit of a different layout, right? So what they've got here is they've broken up their hero section into the three kind of image sections, which works. So start with the image. They're high quality, they're relevant, they show their products, they're meaningful, And with this, what I've understood from just scrolling down their website a little bit further is that they basically provide, I think the whole idea is they provide gifts that you can send to people or take home in your hand luggage to gift to people from your visit in Tasmania. Or if you're in Tasmania and you want to send something to friends overseas, these are really compact gifts that can be packaged really easily and sent through the mail or put in your luggage. So this image is really helpful in that. It shows that, we can pack it up, they're compact. It shows that they're Australian, even using I'm not a garden person at all, but I do know that that's an Australian plant. That's as well as I can do there. So they've nailed it with the images, and they've done it differently by using the two. So what do you offer? Genuinely Aussie made. Okay, it's Aussie made stuff, and we can tell by the image the sort of things that you get. So description, how will it make my life better? Now, normally you'd find the description here, and I mean, it can't genuinely special. That's kind of a bit of a heading as well, the what do you offer bit. But here's their description, and it does still fall in there above the fold, so it works. So these are the gifts that you can't find just anywhere, all genuinely made in Australia and handpicked by us. So they're gifts that, they're not things that you're going to find if you walk down, in the city, in Sydney or Melbourne, and you've got those shops that have got the koalas with the Australian flag, and it's pretty obvious they're not those kinds of things. These are really different gifts that you can't go into one of those stores and find. These are the gifts that if you send to someone overseas, they're probably never going to have received them again. So that's how it'll make my life better. It gives me something completely different to give to the people that I love, or as a gift for myself. And finally, the call to action. What do I need to do to get it? And they've got their shop now button right there, dead center. So again, they've done a really great job. So that is everything I want to tell you about above the fold. So when people first land on your website. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, the next thing that you want to see is what's called a value stack. So the purpose of this section is to help readers see how your company can make their life better. So this helps to increase the perceived value of your product or service. So a value stack is a block of 3 to 4 statements that describe the value proposition or the benefit of your service or product. So it's, why does your customer want your product or service? How do you solve their problem? Now, before I click on to the next slide, I just want to say, if anyone is not clear on those questions that I've just asked on this slide, you really, really, really want to jump on to or come along to one of our Getting Started in Business workshops. I've developed a business matrix that we work through, and we answer these questions. We really look at what the benefit is, what your solution is, what problem you solve, all of that kind of stuff, because you've got to be clear on this. If you can't talk about these things about your product or service, then you can't communicate that to your clients. So if you can't do that generally, you definitely can't do that on your website. All right, so examples of value stacks. So of course, I'll start with ours. Now, ours is a more wordy version. So we've got here to support you. Business South is a not-for-profit organisation which exists to support, promote and encourage entrepreneurship, startups and self-employment in southern and southeastern Tasmania. So why do they want us, and how do we solve their problem? So why do they want us is kind of the first bit. How do we solve their problem? Free advisory. We offer free, practical and confidential mentoring, education, guidance, upskilling and support on all aspects of starting and running a small business. Like, that sounds amazing. If you were a new business person who was struggling and you read that, you know, that's a, oh, yes, please. Holistic support. Our services are provided in both one-on-one and group settings via workshops, webinars, information settings, networking events, and collaborative opportunities. You know, they're all the things that we offer. And thriving networks. We've created a large and thriving network of other business-related services and service providers in Tasmania to refer you to, so you can access the support and advice you need. So that's our value stack. That's how we've designed it. Because of what we do, for kind of simple words isn't really enough. Like, we need the descriptions, the little descriptions under the headings. But I want to also show you some examples of kind of more minimalist ways of doing this, because it might be, you know, if you're a dog groomer, people know pretty well what dog groomers provide. So you could have it much simpler. So this is an example of a much simpler value stack. So this is an American company. They're called Roof Razor, and they provide snow tools. So it's basically about tools that people can buy from the website to help them remove the snow from their roofs. I don't really have that problem where we live in Tasmania, but apparently it's a big problem, having a build-up of snow on the roof and needing to remove it. So why do they want us, and how do we solve their problem? It's safe for you and your roof. It's fast, clear snow fast, and it's easy. You can do it yourself. So that, you know, they've really simply and effectively and quickly communicated why you want their problem, why you want their product and how it solves your problem. So we'll look at another one. And so this is a professional conflict resolution, so mediation kind of company. And again, it's an international company, but their value stack is that they're compassion oriented, they're culturally responsible, and they're professionally experienced. So as you can see from the little bit at the top there, conflict resolution crafted to serve Somali and East African communities in the Twin Cities. So, you know, they're in high conflict zones, and they're the kind of 3 things that you would really want in someone who is going to help with mediation on whatever issues in those areas. And again, the images, they're really relevant. You know, they're relevant to the things, and they're on brand. So they've pulled their brand colors in really well. And this last one, so this is a bit different, and I know it's really hard to see what the actual words say, but I had to shrink the web page so I could get it onto the one page so I could show you. But this is another way to do a value stack. So this is from Sapphire here in Tasmania, so the luxury accommodation. So what they've done, why do they want us and how do we solve their problem? So they provide luxury accommodation. So they provide private pavilions for those who want, a bit more, who want a bit more space. You've got the private pavilions. They've got the imagery that's right on target, and they've got their little blurb. And they've added some extra calls to action on each of these. But it is still a value stack. It's still showing you the ways in which they make your life better. And for them, it's useful because they offer these three, like it's essentially 3 products. So the 3 different types of rooms. I'm not going to try and read that because it's too small, but they answer the questions. The problem is people want luxury accommodation. They need something bigger. So this talks about the features of the bigger room. They've got the suites, signature suites. So it talks about what they provide for those people that, that's their problem. They don't need something that big. They still want something that's luxurious and spacious. And then they've got their luxury suites. So that's another way of doing it. So I don't want you to get stuck in the hole. You have to have 3 blocks or 3 things in a line. There are different ways to do it. So don't think that, there's only one way. I think that's all I wanted to say on that one. So let's move on to the next section. All right, so we looked at the header, we looked at the hero, and then the value stack. Then you have other information on your website. I'm not going to go any further into that, but as you come down the page, another bit that I really would love to see everyone have on their website is a lead capture or subscriber box. So this is something that's connected to your email marketing platform. And if you're wondering which one to use, I highly recommend MailerLite. Their free option covers all your needs. It allows you to create, and that's what we use. So this is actually connected to MailerLite, but it allows you to create exactly what you see in front of you and to embed it in your website. So this lead capture or subscriber box section is also a great opportunity for you to offer your lead magnet. So as I said before, a lead magnet is something you offer for free in exchange for someone's email address. And again, we'll have an email marketing workshop, online webinar coming up soon. Keep an eye out for that if you want to learn more. Now, I always recommend capturing people's first names as well, because that gives you the ability then to personalize the email. So I don't know if you've ever been on a mailing list and sometimes you get newsletters and it's just, and I think ours are like this, we don't use it that much because the email subscriber list we inherited before I started didn't have first names on it. It only had email addresses. But you get a newsletter and there's nothing personal about it. It's just, you can tell it's just a general newsletter to everyone. But what I do in my business is I generally start my newsletters with, hey, and then I insert their name. So the subscriber's first name. That's an instant way of making a connection with your client, of, connecting on a deeper level than just sending what feels like a more generic newsletter. So you don't have to do that, but I recommend capturing the first name so you've got the option of doing it if that suits you and how you work. And the only other thing that I'm going to say about this is capturing subscribers' email addresses is absolutely awesome, but then you need to follow through by sending regular emails. And regular emails could be seasonally to start with. It could be for a year, or it could be monthly, or it could be weekly. Some people do weekly emails. But the thing is, you need to, if you're going to do this, you need to immediately and consistently send newsletters out to people, because there's nothing worse than someone signing up to your newsletter list or subscriber list, hearing absolutely nothing from you, and then 6 months, 12 months later, they get an email from you and they have no clue who it is. Like, they've forgotten, you've completely fallen out of their memory banks that they signed up to anything, and they mark your email as spam. And then you run into trouble with spam filters everywhere. So if you're going to capture someone's email address, make sure that you then follow it up by sending regular newsletters. And again, join my email marketing webinar, because I'll be talking about nurture funnels as well. So let's look at what a few examples from other people's websites for their subscriber or lead capture section. So this is from Mel Robbins. So Mel Robbins is a motivational speaker, not to be confused with Tony Robbins. So with Mel, her little hook is, or her lead magnet is, get Mel's personal letter. So hundreds of thousands of people call this letter my highlight of the week. So Mel will inspire you every Monday and Thursday. So they tell you how often you're going to get this, with real life motivation ripped from a page of her own life. So you're going to get a story, a story with a meaning behind it based on her experience. Every issue is packed with deeply relatable topics, tactical advice, hilarious screw-ups, and compelling conversations, and the tools and inspirations you need to create a better life. Now, that's a beautifully done capture, because you know exactly what you're signing up for. You know that there's going to be 2 emails a week. For me, I actually had signed up to her before she had this, and it was 1 email a week, and I was okay with that. She then upped it to 2 emails a week, and that was too much for me, so I unsubscribed. But you know exactly what, or the person signing up knows exactly what they're going to get going in. So that's a really, really fantastic way of doing it. And here's another example. So this is from Blundstone, and this is just a really simple one. So stay on track, sign up to our newsletter to stay up to date with the latest news, products, and events from Blundstone. So it can be that simple. But again, you got to follow it up by sending out the content. All right, so the last part of the homepage, and again, these aren't the only sections. These are just the important sections that I want to make sure that you have, is the footer. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom of a website, our website in this example, this is what you find. So what your footer should include is a logo. And again, you just want to connect that to your homepage. So it's the same as there. But if people click that, it will essentially move them up to the top of the page. You can have your social media links. So here we've got send us a message. So that actually sends people through to our contact page. And then we've got links to our Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages. So this is where you want to have them. So when people scroll to the footer, then they've looked at all the stuff on your homepage, then they can go off and explore you on other platforms. It can also be great to have a little blurb about your business, but it's not necessary because they have just read everything else on your page. And the other thing that's really important to have on your footer is a sitemap. So this is basically a list of all the web pages. So they can come here, and it's even ones that aren't included here. So if you've got, again, I talked about the submenus, any sub pages you want everything listed here. Okay, so the most important bits, the logo, the social stuff, and a sitemap, all of the bits and pieces. And it's really important to include a privacy policy. You can Google privacy policies. There's one you can get for free. There's ones you can pay for, but you need to have a privacy policy on your website. Excuse me. You can also have a terms of use, but that's where you have those terms of use and privacy policy. You don't, or very rarely, see in the top menu. They're always found in the footer. Okay, so let's have a look at some other examples of really well set out footers. So we'll come back to Blundstone because they did a good job. So they don't have their logo, but they do have their, what's it called? Their tagline, I guess, or one of their taglines, everywhere life takes me. Then they've got their sitemap. So I wanted to show you this one because they've shown every single page on their website. So these are all the different pages. So if you wanted to find out about someone's returns policy, for example, if you're on a e-commerce website, you're going to scroll to the bottom and look through the footer. You wouldn't try mucking around trying to find it in the menus. This is where the business end is. This is where all the different things that you can't find up here are found. So yeah, they've categorized their pages. So they've got the help, the about us, the legal, and then again here, they've got their socials and their online contact form. And right down the bottom, they've created another little menu. So they've got the different payment options available, and they've got their copyright and their privacy policy in terms of use. So instead of having them listed, say, probably under their legals, oh no, they do have it there as well, but they've got it there again. And the cookie settings, because you notice sometimes you get those pop-ups that talk about, you know, do you accept the cookies or whatever? They've actually got the option there that you can click on that and adjust the settings. All right, so that's Blundstone. I'll just show you one more, which is Kmart. So again, this is a bit of a different order. They've got their Kmart logo all the way down the bottom here, but it stands out because it's on a dark background. And they've got their name here, Get Social with Kmart. So there's their social icons. They have an app, so you can download their app from their footer. Again, really good sitemap, all the different pages that you could possibly want to go to. So they cover everything off really well. All righty. So that is everything you need to think about on your homepage. Now, as I said before, you will have you can have other little bits and pieces of information. That's all good. And there are different guides and things you can look at for what to include. But the things that I've mentioned are the most important things that I really want you to make sure that you do have. Like if you don't have anything else, at least tick these boxes. So homepage. The next most important page on your website is your About page. So your About page is the second most visited page on any website. And it's a place where visitors get to know you and your business. The About page can help build a deeper connection. So you might have heard me talk before about the know, like, and trust factor. So people first need to know you, then they need to like you, and then they need to trust you, and then they will hand over money to you. So it's a really important part of your website. So it's something that a lot of people gloss over and, you know, even miss out altogether, but it's actually really, really important. And all the stats I could find really highlighted that the About page is the page that's visited by those who are considering a purchase. And I know for me that that's always the case. If I land on a website that I've never heard of before, or, you know, an ad comes up on Instagram or something and I click through and have a look, if I see something and I'm like, oh, I actually really like that, I'm really considering buying that, the first place I go, like I don't add it to my cart or anything like that. I go straight to their About page because I want to know, A, that they're a legitimate company. I want to know that their values align with what's important to me. I basically want to know who I'm dealing with. And that's a really important thing since COVID. You know, we connect, like the one thing that people struggled with the most during COVID was the lack of connection with other people. So the About page is the opportunity to connect through the screen with another person. So it's really, really important. So now I'm just going to show you some about page examples. So hopefully here, let me just move this little thing out of the way. You should be able to see my browser window with the Business South about page. So if you can't, could you just pop a little note in the Q&A box? I'll just have a quick check to make sure there's nothing in there I need to answer as well. That's all good. So everyone can see my about page from Business South. I'll go ahead as if you can. If you can't, please pop a little, but try that again. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so about pages. As I said, really important to give people an opportunity to connect with who they're going to engage with. So on our about page, we've got this really silly photo of Sharon and I at the top. Like that was we were trying to get the perfect photo of us in the car because we do a lot of road shows and a lot of driving around to different places. And we were just being really silly. It was the end of the day. Stuart was standing in front of the car and we were just being nuts and he took the photo. But we get so many comments on that photo. So many people love it because it really does show like who we are, because Sharon and I can be really, really silly. So that is a really effective way of connecting with people straight away. They're like, oh my gosh, they're not, boring, straight, stuffed shirt, business kind of people. It's like, we know how to have fun and we do very regularly. So about us, now we've said advising and encouraging people who are considering, planning and starting a business by providing free assistance. So again, the consistency in the message of what we do, really, really important. Then because we are a company and we work for, well, we're not a company, we're not for profit, but we work for Business South. So before me, it was Scott and Sharon. So it's important to establish who Business South is in case Sharon or I, God forbid, were to leave. So we talk a bit about who we are. Again, this is all really consistent throughout our website. And here we actually mention the areas by name that we cover. Then you scroll down further and it's the Meet Our Small Business Facilitator section. So this is where you really get to know Sharon and I. And you can even see from the photos, Sharon's a great selfie taker. I hate taking photos, absolutely hate it. Sharon's the social media queen. I don't do. If you see photos on our socials, it's all Sharon. It's not my thing at all. And so this photo really shows a bit of her personality and what she's like. And there's the opportunity to connect. So you can take it off our website to another platform if you want to find out a bit more, because, if you're going to sit down with us and discuss your business idea, like for a lot of us, our business is our baby and we can be feel a bit protective about it. And also if you're really new starting out in business, you can very easily feel like almost not stupid, but like you don't know much. So you want to feel comfortable with the people that you're engaging with. So we've provided opportunities for people to see who we are away from the Business South website, provided a photo which really shows a bit of our personality, and given some information about her experience, what's important to her, like what her values are. And the same with me. I, as I said, don't take selfies, but that's a photo I had from a professional photo shoot from my business. And actually, if you Google my name, everywhere that I appear on any website, because I'm on a few different things, you'll see that image. Like that's my level of consistency. Again, you get the opportunity to connect with me offline and a bit about me. So you can see who we are and learn a bit about us before you then head to the contact page. So that's our about page. So another one that I absolutely love is Who Gives a Crap. So these guys sell toilet paper. I love these guys. I think I was one of their early sign up adopter things back when it was a GoFundMe type thing. But like, look at this. We love toilet paper, and it's got their names and it's got a fun photo, and like, they're so fun. They're really great. So again, you create a connection, and it's really representative of their brand too. It's a fun, like, who gives a crap? That's the name of the brand. So it's a really fun, lighthearted, engaging brand. And, you know, look at what they've written here. Sure, we love puppies and sunny days and walks on the beach, but our real love is toilet paper. Why, you might ask? It's like, that's a little catch to make you scroll further down the page. And, you know, I mean, look at that. And it tells the story about how they got started. So you just read, like, what I did was I read their story and I was like, this is absolutely a company that I want to support. And I have ever since. And it's a brilliant, like, the way they connect with their clients is just fantastic. So this is a really good example of how an about page can connect with you emotionally or values wise. The way they talk, they're lighthearted, they're a bit funny, but they tell you their story, like why they started it, what they do, all that sort of thing. So that is an excellent example of an about page. I'm just going to show two more. So this is one for a larger company. This is Dubsado. I use this personally in my business as a CRM, so a client relationship management system. And again, I've used these guys for many years. I was one of their early, when they were a startup, I was one of their early clients back then. And so the power of being self-funded. So they talk, like, that's an important aspect of their business. They're not, the way that they market themselves, there's a lot of different CRMs on the market, but this is the only one where you really see the people that are behind it. You really connect with the people. The other ones tend to be about us and it's a company page. So again, they talk about why they got into business, why they got into business together, how their brand kind of grew and what they did grew and developed. Then they talk about their team. So this is Becca and Jake. I've never met them, but I feel like I know them really, really well because they sign the end of all their newsletters, Becca and Jake. A lot of their socials is them. So again, it's a real connection. Like I said, I've never met them, but I see them all the time. I see their names, I see their faces. And when I think to Dubsado, I think of Becca and Jake. Like, it's just the way it works. So it's really good, you know, branding. It's really good consistency for their brand. So these guys just have all of their, it's again a big company now, so they've got all of their team members on there, nice casual photos, so we know they're real people behind the company, and they talk a bit about what they're interested in. You know, like Cameron, really simple, Sundays, Kansas City Chiefs football, deep dish pizza, and any pastry ever. Really engaging, helps you connect and know the people behind the brand. And this one's a bit more close to home. So these guys, I believe, are up in the north of the state in Launceston, but again, they do a great job. So the about page, your Tasmanian tiny home specialist. Here's the builder and his dog. What more do you need? Like, he looks like such a nice guy. Hopefully when I build my tiny home in Tasmania, that's the dude I want doing it. And I haven't even read anything about him. It's just the photo that they've chosen gives you the opportunity to connect and gives you the opportunity to go, oh, I now know him because it says down the bottom who they are, Jason and Benny. I like him because he looks like a really likable guy. And that kind of breeds trust. It leads into trust. And you can see from where he's sitting the kind of work, the quality of his work. And then you can actually read about it, and it talks about his qualifications and all that sort of thing. So an about page, what I really, really hope I've gotten across in this bit is the importance of an about page. Please don't ever miss off an about page on your website. Now, all you really need is a good photo of you, or, you know, if it's you and your family, or you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, doesn't matter who the business is, get a photo of you guys on there. Because again, something people can connect with, and have it a bit about you, but also a bit about what you do, what you provide, who you help, and how. All right, so covered the homepage, covered the about page. The last page of the website that I want to talk about. So again, if you only have these pages or these sections to your website, then you can get by, is the contact page. So coming back to Business South, contact us. Again, consistent messaging, and send us a direct message. So one thing you might have noticed is nowhere on our website do you see our email addresses, like Sharon's email address or my email address, or even our admin, like our general email address, or our phone numbers. And that's because A, both of us only work part-time, but B, having people call us and email us, like people that we've never heard from before, that we know nothing about, having those people reach out to us in that way is not an efficient use of our time and energy and resources. The reason we only want people to connect with us via a contact form is so we can triage what the person needs, because Sharon and I each have our own skill set, and we're both each awesome at different things. So when we get someone come through, and it depends on who's working on the day as well, I can say, if it's a day Sharon's not working, I can look at the message that comes through from the website and go, oh yeah, that's someone that needs to speak to Sharon. And it's really easy. I then forward the contact form to her, she makes contact, and it all happens like that. So it's really, really, really important to think about how you want people to contact you. Now, if your business is a side hustle, so if you're working a full-time job while you're building your business, you don't want people calling you on your personal mobile. That would not make your boss happy. That would be really disruptive to the way that you work. So it's really important to consider these things when you're putting together your contact page. How do you actually want people to contact you that's going to work for you, not particularly for them? Like, some people don't like this. They'd rather contact us directly, and they say that, but this is the most effective and efficient way for us to provide our services. So that's why we do it this way. So really give that some consideration. So that's ours. Now, if we have a look at Dubsado, so again, these guys are a bigger business, but I just want to give you an idea of what's possible. So again, we're dedicated to you, and they've given you some photos of their team, so you already feel a little bit connected to them. It doesn't feel like, you kind of know who you're reaching out to behind the contact form, which is really important. That can be the difference between someone actually reaching out to make contact or going, oh, no, I might look elsewhere. So in this example, because again, they've got an online platform, so you can book a demo. So if you click here, it takes you to a booking page where you can find a time that suits you. They've told you that you can chat with them. So I don't know if you can see it down here, but they've got a little chat box that you can open up and chat with them in that, and they tell you when they're available on that, so when they'll get back to you, so they set the expectation. Or you can schedule a call. So again, they've kind of done what we've done in these are the most effective ways for us to serve you via our contact, or when you're trying to contact us. So this is what you can do. They have also added a generic email address down here, but they've got a big team, so they can support that. They can make that happen. And the final one I want to show you, so this is a really good example of a qualifier. So a qualifier is kind of weeding out the people that are the tire kickers from the people that are really seriously considering working with you. So with their contact form, they've got an online inquiry. So they want your name, your phone number, your email address, and your address or location, which makes sense because they're tiny houses. They don't want to start a conversation with someone who's in Western Australia, because probably delivering one of their tiny houses over there would just be cost prohibitive. So that's an important question to ask. So again, think about the kind of questions, the kind of information that you want from whoever's reaching out to you to be able to just jump in and start a conversation and work out, you know, where they fit or what you need to do for them straight off. And then they've asked some other questions. So what's the intended use of your tiny home? Do you have the location or land ready? Which home size are you interested in? What's your time frame? What's your total project budget? And how did you hear about us? So the how did you hear about us is actually quite a good one. But all these other questions weed out the people that are just kind of interested in tiny homes from the ones that are actually ready to take a step in building a tiny home, because it's only a very small company. So they don't want to waste all their time mucking around with leads that might go nowhere. So again, think about what you need to know. Now, they've also added Jason's phone number and an email address here. So I don't know if Jason's brave or stupid having his phone number on there, but, you know, again, you need to think about what would that mean for you? I mean, he probably doesn't do a lot of client-facing time. A lot of his time is probably building. So it might mean that he can just have his mobile in his truck or in his pocket and get the messages off voicemail when he's ready. But yeah, you've got to think about how will this work for you? How can you leverage it best to fit the way you're doing your business at this point in time? All righty, so that is the last bit I wanted to say on contact page. Hang on 1 second. Let me just relaunch this, move things around so I can relaunch my PowerPoint. So just to kind of finish off the contact page a bit. So the contact page allows customers to communicate with you directly. It's the start of creating a more personal relationship with you. So they've looked at your stuff and now they're ready to talk or to connect with you. It supports conversions, so your sales. So again, if we look at the tiny homes or even the Dubzado one, or even ours, you know, again, when we've got more information about what it is a person wants to connect with us about, it means we can jump straight into the conversation that we need to have instead of spending time mucking around trying to work out where they're at. And it ensures that, again, the contact methods suit you and your business. So really give that some thought. All righty. So I also said that I was going to talk about responsive design. Now, I'm not going to go into this in a great lot of depth, but basically responsive design is ensuring that your website, or creating a website that looks good and functions well on all devices. Now, there's nothing worse than jumping on a website on your phone and they've got, for example, a contact form and the send or submit or whatever button is half off the screen and you can't press it. Or the form is kind of spaced weirdly. So on your phone, you've got to kind of scroll left and right to look at the bits, and like you've got to try, at least to the best of your ability, to ensure that your website looks good and functions well on, at a minimum, a laptop, a tablet, and a mobile phone. Now, the importance of this can vary. For example, in my business, and I have my website hooked up to Google Analytics, so I can say this with large degree of certainty, most of the people that visit my website do so on a desktop or a laptop computer. I think it's like 70%. So if I was, I don't know, if something happened and I needed to create a new website, I could get away with just ensuring that it worked on a laptop or desktop, because it's only 30% where it'd kind of, 30% of visitors would kind of fall off. So if you're at a place where either your website building platform doesn't offer you the option of editing your website for the different sizes. Now, a lot of platforms will actually do it for you automatically. So you build it kind of in the desktop or laptop kind of view, and it will automatically adjust things to work. But please always check, like always test your website on a tablet if you can access a tablet, but at the very least on a mobile phone to make sure it works. Sometimes you can reach out to, if you're using Wix or something like that and you have issues, you can reach out to them and ask them about it. If you use something like WordPress with Elementor, which is how our website, and in fact, all of my websites, I've got a few, are built, there's actually an option where you can toggle between the different views. So you can look and go, oh, actually, that's not right. I need to move it over and all that sort of thing. But that is basically what responsive design means. So it's ensuring that it looks good, but that it's usable on all devices. So if you know your audience, like I know mine, you might think that, well, most of them are actually going to be looking at your website on a phone. So that's actually the way you'd want to build your website. You'd want to build it so it's perfect for phone first and foremost. But starting off, you probably don't have that kind of information. So just really do your best. Look for responsive design options, or, if it shows you different views, so you can view when you're in the back-end editor, you can view what it looks like on the different devices, use that. Or otherwise, just get out your mobile phone, have a look, fiddle around, have another look, and just try and do your best that way. Okay, so that is pretty much all that I wanted to cover in that respect. Let me see if there's any questions, or if anyone wants some live feedback. Now, I wasn't sure if you guys were kind of at the stage where you would have a website at a position where you want some feedback, or even if you're just a bit shy, that's fine. Now, I'm actually happy for anyone who watches this webinar to reach out to me via email. You will receive an email after this session with a link to the video replay. So if there was anything that I went through too quickly and you weren't able to take notes, then you'll get the replay video and you can kind of scroll through that really quickly to find the bits and pieces that you need. But what you can do, if you're too shy to pop your website up for live feedback here, is just hit reply to that email and give me your web link, and I'll have a quick look. What I'll probably do is just have a look and create a video. So just a video of me talking through it and saying, this is great, I'd suggest doing this, that, and the other. So I'm happy to leave that open to anyone who might be interested in that. Okay, question. What kind of platforms do you recommend, and whether you should build one yourself or go with a web designer? Really, really good question, Kaz. So it really depends on where you are financially. If you're going to pay for a website, invest in a good one. As with everything else, you get what you pay for. Our web guy, we actually refer a lot of people to him. I want to say he's not cheap, but he's also not expensive. Like, he's very reasonable. And this is coming from someone who's built many websites. I built my own business website. I've got 2 podcasts. I built and maintain the website for those. A lot of work goes into the website, and especially having to do the responsive design things. So if you are going to pay someone, don't try and do a couple of $100 job. You're probably looking at, say, $2,000 to $3,000 for a decent website. And that's a website with probably, I don't know, 3 to 5 pages. You can have a one-page website. So all of those bits that we've talked about will appear on your homepage, but they'll be sections. So you'll have the bits I talked about on the homepage will be the first part. And then you will have your about page bit, and then you will have your contact form bit, and then you'll have your footer. So that is always an option. If you don't need all the different pages, if you don't have enough information for all the different pages, a one-page website is totally okay. And some web designers do offer that as an option. They can create a one-page website for you. It's really important, though, that if you do have someone create it for you, that they use a platform that you are then able to go in and make minor edits to. You don't want to have someone hard code a website for you. So if you need to change text or an image or something like that, or, you know, remove a page, hide a page because you're no longer offering that product or service, that your hands are tied and you have to pay someone every time you need your website updated. So I personally use WordPress with the Elementor plugin. So the Elementor plugin is a drag and drop editor. So it's a big learning curve if you're creating it yourself. If you're creating your website yourself, I really do recommend using something like I kind of cringe a little bit at saying this because I'm like, they're not great websites. But if that's your starting point, Wix, or Squarespace, something like that. Now, in saying that, when you buy your domain, so, you know, in our case, our domain is www.businesssouth.org.au. Don't buy that through Wix or Squarespace. Buy that separately. So buy that from Venture IP or GoDaddy or someone like that. Just the domain, not the hosting. Just buy your domain separately, because then later on down the track, say you wanted to create a website yourself to start with and you use Wix, but then in a few years' time, your business is going amazingly and you want to get someone to create a website for you. If you have your domain bought through Wix, it can be really difficult to then transfer it to, say, WordPress. Whereas if you buy your domain from a separate third party, then it's always there. You can connect that to anything you like. So that's just one thing I want you to be aware of. So yes, if you're doing it totally yourself, then definitely look at Wix, Squarespace. Even if you want something for free, like Wix and Squarespace, you still have to pay hosting and stuff. There is you can get a free website or create a free website through Google Sites. You got to Google Sites, and I might actually include the link to it in the follow-up email that I send out with the link to the replay. But it's totally free. Like, as long as you've got a Gmail address, or if you use Google Workspaces for your business, you can create a website and you can create a few pages on your website. I coach a few coaches who have done that. They've created their coaching business website for free on Google Sites. So it's a great service, and Google don't advertise it that much. Don't know why. I don't think they have a paid version, but yeah, so that's a really good option for you. So it's probably Google Sites is your starting point, then Wix or Squarespace. Then you want to look at something like WordPress with an Elementor type plugin. There's Elementor, there's Divi, there's all these different ones. I find Elementor to be the easiest to use. Another question. Do you also know of anywhere to look for small business grants to develop a website? Oh, you've got the great questions today, Kaz. Yes, actually, just a few days ago or Monday, I think it was, a Tasmanian grant opened up for Tasmanian small business called, oh gosh, the advice, I think it's like the Advice and Small Business Assistance Grant or something like that. And it's a grant of up to $1,500, or I think it's $1,000 to $1,500 for Tasmanian small businesses. Now, you do have to have been operating for a while because there is like a minimum income that you need to have made to be able to access that grant. But that's an option for you. There's also some other options, and I don't know if they can be used for websites, actually, now that I think about it. Like there's the NILS no interest loan scheme. But if you've got a specific question about anything like that, please feel free to hit reply to the follow-up email or send us a message. And I can actually look into a few others for you. But that small business assistance grant, I know for a fact, has been used by a number of businesses to help get their websites up and happening. Okay, let me just have a quick look through. So I don't think anyone's popped in their website to have a look at, which is okay, because I think we're actually pretty close to time anyway. I might give you an early mark. Let me just go through and make sure. Done that one. Oh, Diana, I thought WordPress was free too. That's a good point. So WordPress is like, the WordPress platform itself is free, but you have to pay for hosting, if that kind of makes sense. So it's almost like WordPress is the software and you can access that software for free. But in order to use that software to put a website up, you have to pay for hosting. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Well, if I use Business South, for example, so again, we're on WordPress, but we pay for hosting through Venture IP. So they pay to have our website live and available, or we pay them to have our website live and available to the public. But the WordPress platform that we use to do that is free. It's not like a paid plugin or something like that. All right, if there are no other questions, I might let everyone go and have some lunch. What else have I got here? Questions or comments? Oh, as I mentioned earlier, please feel free to register for our Getting Started in Business workshop. I think our next one is in Moona at the start of, what are we, July, start of August, oh my gosh. If you need some help getting really clear on, who you are, what you do, what the benefits are, what the problem that you solve is for your clients, come along, register for that one. And as always, reach out to us if you need any more assistance or information or have any other questions. We are always here for you guys at any time, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. So there's no other questions. Thank you all so much for coming along. Now, just a little reminder, please follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram so you keep up to date with what we've got coming. If you're not really big on social media, kind of like me, jump on our email list. You can do that at our website. We send out, I'm trying to get in the habit of sending out 2 newsletters a month, so around about the 10th and the 25th, just to keep you updated on any new like grants and things that come out that are relevant, any new resources that we've put up or that we've heard about, or programs that are available, ideally free for small businesses. We try and communicate all that information to you in our newsletter, as well as, of course, letting you know about our upcoming events and things that we're doing. And as you know, you can access any of our upcoming events at any time on our website, which you are now very well acquainted with. So thank you all very much, and I hope to see you all soon.